I just emailed my landlord and told him I'll be moving out. More on that in a second. Happy Transfer Tuesday, guys. The day of the week where we take a look at our finances to see if there's any money moves we can make in a positive direction. As you guys are probably aware, that has looked a little bit different for me the last couple weeks, couple months, as I've been faced with unemployment. So nothing new here, except for moving, I guess. But transfers over the last week. So I actually have not made any money moves. I have no transfers to update you guys on. I have not got my unemployment for the week yet. However, I just got the notice in my email this morning that it's been processed, and so I should have it in my bank tomorrow. But I actually do have my quarterly payout, excuse me, of the company shares that I own. I assume this is just a dividend payout from my job at the nuclear plant. While I was there, of course, I invested in company shares in the retirement plan. So every quarter they send me a check of dividends to be swept into my personal IRA. So I'm going to do that now. This quarter was $202.40. So I'm just gonna pop this into my IRA, which should be pretty easy to just do a quick check deposit on Vanguard. And because it's still not tax deadline day, it is allowing me to deposit this for the 2023 year. So yay. My Roth as of today is at $7,341.41. So that should, I don't know, clear in there in a couple days. But that's it. Yay, I got to contribute to retirement savings. So that's nice. Forgot about that dividend payment. Other than that, I have just been doing my best to sell things around my home, actually. I have been kind of decluttering, not super thorough, just because I have been anticipating moving soon, or been hopeful about that for many months now. So I just don't have a lot of extra things in general, but I have been finding things to sell. So I'm just trying to bridge the gap a little bit between unemployment that does not cover all of my bills. So I'm just trying to make up the difference, I guess, and seeing what I can sell just to cover the other bills, like my electric bill and stuff. So I have sold my Instant Pot. I've sold like a Nike zip up workout top I wasn't using. I got $15 for that. I think I got $35 for my Instant Pot. It was a pretty nice one, but I just never used it. I just prefer a crock pot or a slow cooker. The slow cooker function on the Instant Pot is just a no for me. And so I just wasn't using it, and it was taking up so much storage space in my pantry. So I just sold it to someone who's actually going to use it. And what else did I sell? A Viore top that I got to match their leggings, because I do love their leggings. In fact, they're great. But I had a top to match my black pair that I just never reached for. I don't know, it just didn't fit me right, or I just didn't love it. So I sold that for $50, which is crazy. I bought it, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I've worn it maybe 5 times. But they're like $94 brand new, and I don't remember paying that much. I don't think I did, but just wasn't wearing it, so I tried to recoup that cost, and the girl was more than happy to have it. So win-win. So I'm just trying to see if I can find other things. I do know there's things that can go before I move, because there's no point in packing and moving extra things if I don't need to do that. It's more populated here where I live than where I think I'm going. So the likelihood of being able to sell things is just higher down here. So I'm just trying to get rid of as much as I can. So, as well as bring in some extra cash to cover my bills. So I'm not having to dip into savings. I really haven't had to do that yet, just because I've always kept slush in my bank account. What else is coming out this week? YouTube Pay would normally be in 2 days, so on Thursday, but I have decided to hold that just because they are deducting that income from my unemployment, which is irritating because I was excited that it was going to help bridge this gap between the unemployment and my bills, and it just kind of counts against you in that aspect, so I'm just not gonna bother with that for now. So to be determined on when we'll get paid from YouTube again, but it doesn't matter. Like, you guys, I know that money's there, and when I do use savings, which I will be this week, actually, I'll be using my annual expenses fund because I have to pay my CPA today. Actually, they've done my taxes, and it's like $1,994 for tax prep, which my annual expenses sinking fund is $2,000. So it's going to take all of that, and plus I this month have to pay my car registration and inspection and all of those fun annual things since it's birthday month, and car insurance also comes out. So all of those annual expenses really hit at once, and they're going to take more than my annual expenses sinking fund, so that's okay. And obviously on unemployment, I'm not going to be able to replenish that anytime soon. Is what it is. That's where we're at, and that's why we have many layers of sinking funds and emergency funds. So again, we're not panicking over here. We're just chilling. Kind of like Piper in her Quidditch post here. She's chilling, huh, baby? So that's an update on income. The rental property, the work was supposed to be done last week, but it did not get completed, so hopefully I'll hear from them sometime this week. So no rental income coming in for March, certainly. Which is totally fine. I am going to go home up to Maine tomorrow, because on Thursday I have kind of an interview, I guess. As you guys know, I'm having a hard time getting people to take me seriously when it comes to manual labor work and trying to find a job that is quote unquote like beneath my skill set or whatever people are seeing when I'm applying to. I'm just trying to find a job and get off of unemployment, and in trying to go towards the direction that I feel my life going towards, which is slow and away from corporate life. And not that I've ever had a traditional corporate job, but just this last one, and even the one at the nuclear plant, even though it was physical, it was still very bureaucratic environment and corporate environment, and I was trying to back away from all that because it was very not okay for me mentally. So in what I hope is a happier future, more manual labor, outdoor work, out in nature, things that make me happy, which is field work, and which is why I went into marine science, environmental science, things like that. I like working outdoors, but unfortunately a lot of those jobs come with a desktop computer-based component, and I just kind of want to take a breather from the computer and a screen and cubicle and fluorescent lights. I want sunshine, greenery, birds, things outside. So if the job market sucks so much, I'm trying to pivot and maybe take a season off and work at a farm for the growing season and learn a bunch of things that can be useful in my life going forward, since I definitely want my own homestead and gardens and maybe a small farm one day. So why don't I, use this unemployment opportunity to explore other options? But I applied to one job, and they very much clearly did not take me seriously when it comes to wanting to scale back and do manual labor instead of using my degrees. And while I realized that was just a very much projection from the individual I was talking to, it made me realize I need to change how I'm applying to these types of jobs. So I made a whole resume of like my experience and just really amped up and highlighted all of the manual labor aspects and repetitive task aspects of those jobs to make it very clear that I'm not just some chick with a master's degree. I am very familiar with manual labor and hard work. So I've just curated a different resume. So I've printed off a handful of them. They are in hand, and I am taking them up to Maine tomorrow, and I'm just gonna hit the streets. I'm just gonna drive around to all the farms, because up by my parents' house there are a bunch of farms, and my brother said he's seen a handful of them are hiring and having trouble finding workers. So I'm just gonna take my resume and hit the streets, and I'm gonna sprinkle them throughout the countryside. And I actually do have an interview with a farm on Thursday, so I'm gonna go meet the owner and walk around with them and try my best to come at it from a different angle this time around and make sure they understand that I am serious. And that's not to say those are the only jobs I'm applying to. I'm also applying to jobs in my field that require, my background and my levels of education, I guess you could say, and more scientific, officey, the trajectory I've been on. I am continuing to apply to those jobs as well. So full-time career positions. However, like I said, just not a great job market. I think that a lot of job openings are just a bunch of robo postings. I keep seeing them reposted with like so many applicants that there's no way. It's a resume that's going to be added to a sea of resumes. So it kind of sucks. And as much as you can tailor each resume to like hit all of the buzzwords of the job posting so that the AI can scan and filter you out through, it's still just very much an overwhelming number of applicants per job that I'm seeing. So I don't feel great about the outcomes, and that's certainly coming, like, interviews are just not really coming through, and so it kind of sucks. But anyway, let's talk about moving. So yeah, I just emailed my landlord this morning to give him notice that I will be moving out at the end of April. I don't know exactly when I'll be moving out, but I figure, you know what, I'll give myself the month of April. I don't know where I'll be moving to, but as I've mentioned, my parents have thrown out the option of moving back home. as much as that pains me. My dad is right. It's not the most sensible thing to just keep sitting here throwing away money on rent. Not that I ever have really considered renting being like throwing away money on rent. I know that's a huge argument in the home ownership versus renting space. Like, trust, there's pros and cons to both. I've never considered renting throwing my money away. I have owned my own home before, but in my adult life, I have mostly been a renter. This whole unemployment, job change situation, there's so much up in the air, and it certainly does feel like throwing away money on rent at this point. So I'm very fortunate in that I have the option to move home with my parents. I'm gonna be 39 in a couple weeks, and at this age, in fact, at any age, it has felt like a huge no for me. But when you find yourself in a place where you don't have a ton of options, what are you going to do, right? And so I'm trying to just look at it from the angle of like, it's the financially favorable move. And that, I'm not like shitting on my parents, that's not what I mean, but it just is like a pride thing. It's totally a pride thing. Like, no one wants to move home at almost 40 years old. That feels terrible. Not only that, but just like, I hate putting people out or making anyone feel inconvenienced or like they have to like deal with me, like I'm a burden in their hair. For me, I very much value my personal space, my living space. It is my only sanctuary on earth, is what I can do within the confines of my walls and who I let in my space. Not everyone feels that way with their living space. I know that's just me, but I just try to put myself in their shoes. You know, they're retired, they're trying to enjoy themselves. As much as they love kids and grandkids coming back home and being around, like, it's very different to have them move right back in with you. On my end, it's a lot of mental, like, having to just get over that. Of course, my parents are trying to be supportive and helpful and like, oh, it'll be so great. I could use the help in the garden this year. And so I love that, especially as they're aging. I would love to be able to help them more and, you know, whatever. But it's just still feels not okay. So I figure if nothing else comes up job-wise between now and the end of April that makes me feel okay about, because if by some miracle one of these career jobs came up and it was definitely enough money to warrant switching and looking at different apartments in the area of said theoretical job, that'll be great. But if not, then okay, backup plan is to move back home for a bit. Which sucks. Like, just logistically. I'm not saying living with my parents would suck. Living with anyone after living by myself for so many years is going to be a drastic change. For sure. But parents especially, it's unique, right? It has its unique challenges and unique blessings as well. Let's call it that. It's great to spend time with them. Especially, they're snowbirds now, so they're not even in New England right now. But also, that they won't even be getting back to Maine until the end of May. So I would have almost a whole month in their home by myself with the cats, allowing the cats time to get settled in. That's the other thing that stresses me out is the cats. They have not been around people, and that's probably my fault. I have very much lived very quietly because that's just me as a renter. I walk very quietly. I talk very quietly. I turn the TV down when it's late or early in the morning. Very quiet to live near. Very quiet to share walls with because I've just been a renter so long and have lived next to people or below people that are very not quiet and not respectful of renting. So the cats have just lived a very quiet life, and men's voices in particular, like the doorbell scares the shit out of them, and then men's voices, like they just haven't been exposed. So is what it is. So I think that could be very stressful for them, especially with a revolving door of grandkids and dogs and just other people, and always having a men's voice around. I don't know as though that's necessarily going to be a thrive environment for them, and though it'll be nice to get them some exposure because at the end of the day they're still going to be safe, but I don't know, it just seems stressful for them, and I don't want to put them through stress, but I think it's just going to be stressful for me mostly. So now that I've emailed my landlord, I guess it's time to start decluttering a little more thoroughly. So stay tuned. That was a lot of thoughts for Transfer Tuesday, but that's just where I'm at financially. So thank you for listening. As always, let me know down in the comments what money moves you guys made towards your financial goals. I will see you very soon.